the Two versus Brother podcast. After last night's draft, we are actually now the day after. Pedro, how you doing, bro?
Bro, I'm good, bro. Just here after everything that happened, all the hijinks and the and the buffoonery. uh,
that
where everything's good over here in the Chure household.
that for sure, man. For sure is a churre. And Pedro, I would imagine this is being sent out to the league so the league can see the live version of this podcast. I know we we're gonna dissect. First of all, I want to talk about the controversial thing, Pedro. Your clown yesterday. I know everybody was looking forward to for you to be the clown, and because from December 29th, 2024. So the moment was for yesterday. You mentioned that you were going to be a sexy clown. So what do you have to say?
Well, Fredo, look, this is what I'm gonna say. I told you guys from the beginning what I was gonna do. You guys, I don't know what you guys thought was gonna happen. I told you I am going to be a sexy clown, and no one told me otherwise. So what do you want me to do? I explained it to you guys in multiple occasions. There are some things that obviously I wanted to do that I didn't have the know-how how to pull off, and I didn't think were I think were probably over the top. I even thought about changing my like putting in like contact lenses to change my eye color and everything, bro. And I didn't end up doing that because I thought it was over the top. But what else? What more did you want from me?
I mean, Pedro. I mean, honestly. I mean, I'll tell you this. I mean, we're gonna have the documentary coming out later. As from first hand view from when you first come out. I mean, I'll tell you this. And I told mom this morning. Make sure to send this to Lee. Have you sent it to the chat?
Oh no, I haven't done it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and I told this to mom. A clown. You know, you when you see a clown,
Mhm.
you see the wig, you see the baggy clothes, you see the thing in the nose, the shoes. That's what when I see a clown, that's what I expect to see.
Mhm.
Not Beetlejuice or the Joker or anything like that. And not only that I said it. When I sent this to my wife, I sent it because, of course, the whole hype was the clown. The family. I was just saying, man, this is going to be viral. I was expecting things, for the Two versus Brother podcast. It was funny. It was good. But then when the first person, when I sent it to her, she was like, "Is that a clown? Because that doesn't look a clown." And I said, "Yeah, it's a clown." And no, I said, "That does not look like a clown to me. That looks like a Joker or Coco." That's another. That was another analogy. Coco. I said, Beetlejuice, but I said, well, I mean, it is what it is. And then other people that I was then sending out to that are not in this league, were telling me, oh, but that doesn't look like a clown. That looks like more like a Mexican clown. One told me that's a Mexican clown. One told me that what the instead of the paint, what happened with the mask. So, you know, when we were expecting it, we were expecting a clown. Do you remember? And mom actually reminded me it was a perfect analogy. Remember a few years back when I beat the fly and I had a kind of like a celebration. I came up at the end with a clown to categorize Danny as the clown. Well, and I put on the clown mask. That's what we were kind of like in a way expecting. And Pedro, and at the end, when we were walking by, and that was the first time I said, well, let's see what happens. I mean, of course, we were hoping maybe, or we were thinking it was gonna be, catching attention as we were walking by
Uh-huh.
the parking lot. I remember you had the first part saying that you were going to get someone's attention. First guy that passed by is un Balsero. He actually looked like Balsero. He didn't even say anything to you. He looked up and he kept up. He didn't even do a double take because, oh, okay, at least a double take. But I don't know. I mean, and then other people's passed by, and then there was nothing in the nonsense that people were actually like saying, "Wow, we had the clown." Even when you came in to Duffy's, like you would notice people in the restaurant, they look because maybe we were the one who's making more sound than anything. They
Mhm.
know what the heck. They continue their thing. It wasn't that people wanted to take pictures with you. So I felt that some of the people were expecting more, and it wasn't like that.
Okay, Fredo, what do you want me to tell you, bro? I told you guys what I was gonna do. You guys didn't believe me.
But
Y'all
Pedro,
thought
that was
that.
not a clown. That was not a clown.
I know it was. Man, you know who said it the best? Your arch nemesis, Ralph. A roadside clown, a road show. Like if you ever seen like back in well, they still have them. Like a big size show where they have a lot of they do a lot of like horseback riding and bull stuff, and there's a clown there, and he's doing a lot of that, those activities. I look like that, and
Does
I
it look
thought that
like
was,
that? I mean,
and that,
does it
and I
look like?
thought, and I thought that was a pretty good rendition of that.
I mean, honestly, and even like when you took off the mask, I mean, I think you could have saved yourself a little bit more money. You could have just put the outfit. But I think my theory was that you put out this whole thing of the sexy clown. Though you wanted to be a sexy clown, you did not want it to be put in that clown. That's why you look so comfortable. You look so though during the whole time. You knew what you were going to pull out. I say you probably were thinking, I am not going to wear that clown suit. I was not going to look like that. And I pull out this, oh, I'm gonna be a sexy clown,
I
and then
said
you
it from
came
the
up with it.
beginning. I said it before
Yeah,
I was a clown. I said if I'm gonna be the clown, I'm gonna be a sexy clown, and no one said no. They just didn't know what it looked
but
like.
that's not a clown, Pedro. That's not a clown.
I'm sorry to tell you, bro. That's a clown. That is
That
a
was
sexy clown, and that's what happened.
nah, man. That you could say now the outfit, yeah, so and I told mom this morning. I said, Mom, because she was thinking, well, maybe the makeup I do good. No, you did good with the makeup. The makeup came out good. You put a lot of effort into it. There was no problem with that. The problem I think is the outfit. He had some overalls. He had, he even had the shoes. So why did I want to pick you up if you can still drive?
It's good to have a ride.
Yeah, because I didn't expect it for you to drive. I thought, well, if you're gonna be wearing a clown, shoes, you weren't gonna be able to drive. And I mean, you had your MJ. It was MJ's, right?
Yeah, Jordan's. Bro, listen, you heralded my arrival. You let everybody know I was coming. You made this huge spectacle of me. That you at the door already had the phone out ready in a video to be able to take a video of the first sight of the clown.
Yeah, no,
You made the spectacle.
it wasn't no that was the condition. So I blame myself. You know what, for all of this, because I said I lied to Franklin, to Steven, telling them that I saw the outfit.
I
But
don't know why you did
you
that.
never showed me the. I know. I blame myself because if I would have seen that what I saw yesterday, I would have told you, nope, you are not going to show up with that. You need to get the clown suit. And I blame myself because I told them that I saw it, and I had an idea what you had because you did show me, a picture or something, but I had no idea it was that. And so I blame myself. If I would have seen what I saw yesterday, I would have told you and I would have warned the league, oh, this guy's pulling off something. And I think you were just slick on it, bro. I'm calling you out, but I think you were slick with the whole because you did not want it to go through that embarrassment. That's why you were so calm.
Bro, it just look. I
You were
told you
calm.
guys from
So
the
you knew
beginning.
what you were pulling off,
I
obviously.
told you guys from the beginning what I was gonna do. If you guys didn't see it coming or whatever, that is on you guys. There was no, oh, you have to do this and you have to do that. There was none of that.
They said it. It said
No,
it.
it
You
didn't say
had to
anything.
wear a full outfit.
Listen, the only thing, and I was planning on doing, I was planning on getting a wig to put on. The only thing is that when I went to Spirit, whatever that place called, Spirit Halloween or whatever, they didn't have it, and I was like, man. And I looked online, and I'm like, man, what if I get it and it's too big or it's too small? That's not something I wanna risk. But I went to the place to get this stuff. So, and I was gonna wear with the hat. I was gonna do it. I just couldn't find it, and I didn't have enough time to do that because yes, I knew I was
Pedro,
gonna do it with time, but
you had
I
8 months.
didn't think that I go to a party city now, and there's no party cities anymore. It's a different story. I went to two or three different places to try to see it, but
Pedro,
I
you
couldn't
had
get it.
8 months. Eight
No, that's
months.
fine, but I didn't. I thought that was something I could get any time. Go to the place and get it. The shirt, that's one thing. The shirt I got with Amazon with time. The overalls as well. The shoes. I wanted some J's, so I got some J's, bro. What's wrong with that? And the makeup, of course, I want that. I got last minute because I knew that I could go to this place and buy it.
Yeah, well, I get it, man. I would tell you, I would just, I think next year now because the league is gonna be more focused on these type of things. They're gonna be looking out because you kind of like in a way escaped. I mean, you did
No,
good. I'm not saying it doesn't
no,
look
no, I didn't,
good,
bro.
but I think you dodged the bullet because I think if you would have come with a full clown suit, it would have been a different story, bro. But all right, we're here also for something else. I know the league wanted to ask you. We were. I know. Have you heard the majority of the podcasts
I
that Steven
heard
has presented?
I heard everything but the last one, the last two, because I knew who the last two were gonna be, so I didn't need any explanation of the last two.
Okay. Well, the one with Steven and Danny and then Steven and Alex.
Yeah, Steven and the Batman. I
Okay.
heard
Well,
everything.
he.
But
Okay.
the last one was Steven and the Batman. The last two, no, the last three. I'm sorry, the
Oh, the
last two.
last. Okay.
Because
Yeah. Okay.
once I got all the way up there, I was like, man, this is I already know what's gonna happen,
Yeah.
and
It
I
was
got
gonna be.
busy and I had to stop.
I get it. I get it. All right. Well, Pedro, let's go very quick here. Let's talk about. I wanted. I know people are giving the power rankings. I mean, I know it takes time to dissect it. I wanted to go with a different approach. I want to see, and we'll try to see maybe the first 8 rounds, 9 rounds, the best pick and the most questionable pick, draft picks. We're not going to talk about the keepers. We're just going to talk about the people that were picked. Okay.
I think we should
Wow.
include the keepers as well because you are one of the most questionable guys now when it comes to that. But
No, no, no. I know, but I think it all comes in. But not to say, okay, this was the worst, person in this slot or
yeah,
anything like that. So, I think we already went through it.
well, go
So,
ahead. Yeah, this is gonna be your rendition of that. Go ahead.
all right. So let's talk about the first round, right?
Yes.
All right. So on the first round, the person who, I think the best pick overall with the draft that with the selection, obviously this is an easy one. I think Genti as the first overall pick, that was the most obvious one. I think it did very well. So I'm not gonna go with the obvious. I'm gonna go with actually the best one. And I think the best one is it took a lot of risk, but it was done. And it was by my own flesh and blood Pedro with Kyron Williams. I think Kyron Williams was a solid first round pick, is what is expected. People were expecting for it to go in the, let's say, early first round. You got him in the fourth. Very good. And I would say that's the best pick in the first round.
Yeah.
Now, the most questionable one, I'm gonna go with Alex, the Batman, with T Higgins.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a big fan of T Higgins. I know he had a good year. Basically, the last game against Denver was what took him. Using a first round pick, especially when you had, he could have gotten maybe another running back, even with Kyron. He could have gone with Garrett Wilson, Marvin Harrison, and instead he went with the number two wide receiver for the Bengals. I don't think the Bengals are going to be throwing that much in the aspect of that they're going to be going. I think Jamar Chase is going to still get his feet. But T Higgins repeat as a like wide receiver one type of numbers, getting him in the first round. You had to get that had to be a first wide receiver. There was also Terry was available. So I didn't like that first round selection by by this case by the Batman.
Yeah, no, it's an injury prone guy. You're not sure what's gonna happen with him. I totally agree with you, Alfredo.
Yeah. Now let's move on to the second round. I think the best pick that we had in the second round, and again, maybe based on ADP, maybe he could have gone a little bit further, but because of the draft situation, because of where we were at, I'll say the wise man pick for Trayvon Henderson in the second round. I think Trayvon Henderson, this guy was projected, to be in the New England offense. Eventually, I know that he's going to be splitting at first with Stevenson, but Trayvon Henderson, I mean, you can even see him in the preseason, the runs that he had. He was very effective, fast. I think New England, with Mike Vrabel, they're going to be focusing more on the run. I think Trayvon Henderson will be the main beneficiary out of this offense. And Steven, knowing that in the comeback in the third round, he was not going to get him because Danny was most likely going to end up getting him, and he took him. And I would say that is the best pick in the second round. Now, the most questionable, I will go with the Cookies with Terry McLaurin. Um, yes, Terry is the number one wide receiver for Washington, but he is he was holding out. We don't know how he's going to react to the rest of the year. But I think with other people available like Garrett Wilson, Marvin Harrison, that's who I thought. I thought he was going to get back Marvin Harrison because that's the guy who he had all year long. Mike Evans, Devontae Adams. Like there was four better receivers that were ranked higher than Terry Lorena. So I would say that's the most questionable pick.
Definitely, Alfredo. I kind of agree with you with that one.
Now, if we move on to a third round, and here's where yeah, we were trending yeah to at least the elite guys. I think the best pick there in the third round. I'm gonna go none other than he drafted Cortland Sutton back with
Koki.
Cook. Yeah, with Cook. So he messed up with McLaurin, but then he did okay with Sutton. I mean, Cortland Sutton, number one receiver for Denver, very solid. I in an ascending offense with Sean Payton, I think he did very well with that. And I even can go with Nick. I'm gonna give Coles. Nick did very well with Chua Hubu. I think some people in early projections had him in the late second round, early third, and he dropped all the way to the third round. So very well, good job there um, by Nick by getting it.
All right, and the worst.
Now on the worst, there was a lot of this third round. I'm gonna disagree with Steven that it was a great draft. I think there was a lot of questionable picks in the third round, and I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna mention them, and then I'm gonna say Mike Evans. I did not like Mike Evans. I mean, he he was good for the second round. What I'm trying to say, Mike Evans, I have my question with him. I know he dropped all the way to but I'm not a fan with it. DJ Moore for Steven, not a fan. And then your pick with George Pickens, not a fan. I think George Pickens questionable. Kamara, I know Franklin is banking with Kamara with his 17 points, but when week 5, week 6, let's see if Kamara will be there. Very questionable. And then Harvey for the Shark. A lot these picks in the third round were very bad. That's why it proves my point that Josh Allen was the right choice in the third round because he is better than all those guys that were in the third round.
I have to disagree with you with that one, but better than Josh
I'm
Allen.
confident. I'm confident. That's why.
All right. Well, go ahead, Alfredo. Give me your grades for round 4.
I love the damage take in the fourth round with Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard, I think he went back with someone that helped him out in the previous year. Tony Pollard is gonna do good, and they have a much better quarterback situation. And Pete Spears is gonna be out, so this is an opportunity for Tony Pollard to take over. His efficiency hasn't been as good as other years, but I would expect Tony Pollard at that round in the fourth round he did very well. My questionable pick, um, I this round, I think everybody did good. I would say the most questionable maybe would be, and I think it was Armando with getting the wide receiver, the rookie wide receiver, a Buck from Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think he could have gotten maybe a little bit further down. Right now, he's a number 2, but if Godwin comes back, who knows? It might be a messy. He is a first round pick, but I think this was a lot of there was a lot of good picks. So out of the bad ones, I would say that.
Oh yeah, the Ibuka thing. I would tell you, to be honest, that if Ibuka would have made it to me, I would have drafted him. So I think that he belongs in this tier, the fourth and the fifth. But everybody has their opinion. So
Yeah.
Alfredo, tell me the next one.
Best pick, Jameson Williamson in the fifth round. I think Jameson Williams it was breaking out towards the end of the year. He did with Detroit. This was a Nick pick, something that Danny could have taken it. I think that at that point of the draft, it was a steal. Um, the guy potentially with a new offensive coordinator, maybe the might use Jameson Williams more. I really like him at that time of the draft.
Okay, and the worst.
I would say the worst one in this draft, I think, is between Franklin and Jonathan. Franklin with Pearsall, and Pearsall again. This is we don't know if it's going to be Pearsall or if it's going to be Jennings. A lot of question marks. Who's the number one receiver? Maybe Pearsall becomes, but we don't know. And then Jonathan with Matthew Golden. Again, the Green Bay has never had a true number one receiver. This is the first receiver that they have taken in a long time in the first round. But there were other people that he could have taken at that time. Maybe he could have gone with Waddle. That I think Waddle would have been a better selection than Golden. But he ended up with that.
Alrighty. And any other bad ones in that round are questionable?
Hey, very the Mahomes for my wise man. I mean, I think and he mentioned it in the draft. I think if he could have waited a little bit more, he could have kind of maybe a Bo Nix. He could have gotten. I think Bo Nix went in that same round, but let's say later on with Prescott, he could have gotten him. Drake May. I personally do like Drake May. I think he might take the next step this year with New England. But Mahomes, at that time, I mean, fifth round, he even though he is a great quarterback, but for fantasy, I don't know. I don't think so. It's so questionable at that time in the draft.
All right, Alfredo, that makes a lot of sense to me. I think he even brought it up himself. But let's move on. Next round, best.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm gonna go to the seventh round because then after that, then eighth round because I do want to talk about the eighth round, the specific pick, but after that, then it's a lot of misses and stuff like that. I would say the sixth round, the best pick there. Um, I like Danny taking
Jalen Warren.
Warren, Jalen Warren. I think it was a good pick. I think Nick also with Baker Mayfield at that time in the draft. Um, wasn't sorry, no, Baker Mayfield was in the seventh round. But it was solid. But I would say Danny with Jalen Warren was I think the best pick in that round.
Alrighty. And tell me, who is the worst pick in this round?
There were a few, man. I mean, I did not like at all the Roma Dunze. I know that was maybe the best guy available at that time, but that Bears offense with DJ Moore, they got the other wide receiver, and then also the tight. They have two good tight ends. I mean, that's a could be a messy situation. Romeo Dunze could be the fifth best target there. So to get him all the way in the sixth round was kind of crazy, man. I'm not a fan of that pick at all.
All right. Tell me then the best.
No, I told you it was. Would say
Oh,
Warren, Jalen Warren. Yeah, Jalen
the,
Warren was the
the
best one.
best, the best, and you don't have any other bad ones there that you could say.
No, the bad ones I told you was Roman Doomsday in the sixth
That's
round.
it.
Yeah, well, I'm saying the worst ones. I mean, if I go with each one, I mean, yeah, at this time of the draft, it's a lot of hits and misses. I mean, we'll be all night going over.
Yeah, no, you're right. How about the next round? The
All
best.
right, the next to last round that we'll analyze. Eh, Believe it or not, I like the Tyrone Tracy based on we're in the seventh round. Maybe the Skidable might beat the main running back, but who knows? I like that Tyrone Tracy guy. At that time, I like Braylon Allen. I ended up getting him. I think he'll be the number one receiver. But I'm not going to talk about myself. I'll talk about um, Tyrone Tracy in this case. I frankly made a good pick there.
Alrighty, and the worst.
Tank Bisbee. That's very questionable. Tank Bisbee. I mean, the Jaguars with ETN, Duran, and then they three running backs might be getting carries. So getting him that in the draft, he could have maybe gotten even Braylon Allen that had less competition, Eckler. So yeah, very questionable.
Yeah, the Udon's draft is not looking too hot right now. Towards the end.
Yeah, yeah,
Definitely. But yeah, what about the next round, Alfredo?
yeah. The last round, and I'm gonna talk about. I love the Keon Coleman. This is from the Cookies. Keon Coleman could be the number one receiver in Buffalo with the elite quarterback of Josh Allen. I think Keon Coleman will do what is necessary. Was that missing piece that Buffalo needed of an elite receiver? Could be. I'm not saying he will. So if it does happen to get him all the way in the eighth round, could be a steal.
Awesome, Alfredo. Uh, Tell me who made the worst pick, and please let's give me another one that's not Brandon Aubrey, please.
No matter how this man wants to explain it, but Aubrey, it is a worst pick. I just want to say he is the worst one. But you said not to tell him. To Jordan Addison. I mean, with Armando, we don't know. It's gonna be. I think he's suspended for 4 games,
Three.
but three. He's suspended for 3 games, and then when he comes back, Adam Thielen's gonna be there. I don't expect much, but then you have a new quarterback. He's still Justin Jefferson's going to be there. T.J. Hawkinson, question mark. I mean, at that time, I mean, it's a lot of risk at that part of the draft. But I wasn't a fan of it.
All right, no, but I do understand that. I actually like that Jordan Addison one. He is the number two in that wide receiver, and Adam Thielen's like 1,000 years old. So
No, it could be, but let's see what happens. Well, so this is the first 8 rounds that we're gonna go ahead and discuss. Later on, we'll talk about the rest, but at least these first 8 picks for first 8 rounds, this is what I feel that were the best picks and what the worst pick.
Awesome, Alfredo. But listen, this was the recap basically of the best and worst picks of the draft. The draft itself was hilarious. I wish we would have got had most of that on camera, especially a certain time when someone came up to me to ask me some questions.
Yeah,
But
for sure, man, for sure.
obviously, we couldn't get that on camera. But it's okay.
Yeah,
Guys, subscribe, like, y'all watch it, like it if you did, dislike if you didn't. Who know? Who cares? Uh, subscribe more than anything, please. And one last thing, Alfredo, I don't know, bro. Your team is not looking too hot right now, man. I think it's you and me. Is you and me the week one, and I have not input my kicker, and I'm
I'm
only
still
down by 6 points.
and I'm still haven't put my defense, so
Let's see.
I'm
Let's
good,
see.
man. I'll be good. I'll be good. I'm fine. All right, bro.
All righty, man.